Alright, welcome to HarpNinja tutorial. Pitchtracker, all about the Pitchtracker. Let's go into the Diatonic tuning dojo here. So the Pitchtracker module sits down here at the bottom of the screen. And when you first go into the tuning dojo, you'll notice when you play, Pitchtracker will show up wherever you play. So that's controlled here by the lock checkbox. If you lock it, it'll be locked in position down here at the bottom of the screen, and that's useful for a number of different scenarios, which I'll explain about in a minute. The other main component here is the microphone button, which lets you mute. It's muted there now, and unmute, which is also useful for on various occasions. So if we explain, another easy way to explain the different components is I'll just get rid of the notes display for the moment. And you see when I play, the Pitchtracker actually has two components. There's the technical display here, which shows the note, the sound pressure level on the outside of the note there, and the pitch, how far off pitch, below, and sharp it is. And there's also, it shows up here with a different visualization, which you'll notice is I'm playing about 6 inches off the mic here. So it's actually responsive just like the volume level here. It's just a different visualization. You notice when I play very low, it's small and green. As I play higher, it's yellowish, related to the color here. And when we get closer or really hot on top of the mic, it's going red, it's amping out. So the sound pressure level is a way to gauge how to set up your mic as well, because it's different for everybody. I tend to set it so that it's just slightly yellow below halfway here is your normal playing position. So I'm using an Audio-Technica AT2030 condenser mic. At the moment I'm playing about 6 inches off the mic, so if I play what I'll say is a normal volume note, you can see it's just below 50%, about 40%, slightly yellowish, and a little bit medium sized there. So you can adjust the gain of the microphone, how close, I'm speaking right on the mic there, so you can see it's amping up, and how far back you go, depending how you want to set things up. The type of microphones, so you'll have to take all that into account when you're adjusting the first few times when you're trying to set HarpNinja up, especially on a desktop. You don't have that much control on the iPad, but on Mac and PC you have quite a lot of control over your microphone inputs. So that's the sound pressure level and its relationship to what shows up here when it's in locked mode. In the middle, you'll notice the note pops up. So if we see here, we're on a C major harmonica, C major, we're in first position. We're playing 5 below, which is E, which is the third of a C chord. 1, 3, 5. You can see there it's 3. Put that back there and we'll put it into free mode. So we can see that's the note, sound pressure, and then on the outside we have what's called the pitch display, and that tells us how far below or how far flat or sharp we are from the note. Now that also depends on the quality of your harmonica, what temperament it's tuned to, equal temperament, just intonation, or compromised tuning. HarpNinja currently doesn't have temperaments built in. It's tuned to a standard A440, which is the equal tempered tuning. This is a stock Suzuki olive harp I bought just yesterday, so playing slightly flat, whether that's me or the harp, I'm not too sure. So the basics, a little bit of music theory to explain what's going on with the circle here and why we have a circle. An octave is 12 notes when you're going from C to C. So a semitone, and we'll use this D and D flat here, the 4-draw and the 4-draw bend, to explain between any two adjacent notes. If you look at a piano keyboard or on the harmonica, D and D flat, that's a semitone. That's actually another way of looking at it is what's called 100 cents, which is a 12th of an octave. An octave is 1200 cents. So you're dividing it by 12, you get 100 cents in between each note. So a semitone is 100 cents. So we can look at this circle and go, okay, this is 0 up here. If we're going to go clockwise when we're bending down from D, we're going to go to 50 at the bottom of the circle, and then back way all the way around here to 100 at D flat. When we get to D flat, is back to 0 for D flat. So it's 0, 50, 100, and then now we're at D flat. So that's 0, and the same thing when you're going to go down to C. D flat, 50 cents down from D flat, and then C. Excuse me. So 100 cents, one semitone. 50 cents down is half of a semitone, which is a quarter of a tone. So if we just play, so what happened there, you can see where it flips from D to D flat when it gets down here. Well, if you think about it, at some point it has to, because D, we're going down, we're a quarter of a tone, 50 cents down, which is half of a semitone. At that point, when we go to 51, it's actually half of a semitone sharp from D flat. So the note is flipping here. So don't get too confused, just go with it until you'll figure it out. And you can use that to practice very subtle pitch control as well. If you want to practice just quarter step bends, or as some very subtle work which the audience might not pick up. It depends what you're playing, but just a technical practice that you can work on. So along with that, you can go into zoom mode. So you can do the same thing there. Take the transparency out. If you want to, you can put it into lock mode. Go back in zoom mode, and by using the transparency slider, combined with that, you can work on all sorts of exercises trying to remember notes and pitch. So that's the pitch tracker component. Next up will be pitch to tab, which is in the zoom mode area. You'll notice that the pitch tab button will only show up as a little bit of a forerunner when you're in free mode. That's this button here, pitch to tab. if you're in lock mode and you're going to zoom, there's no pitch tab, so it only works in free mode. So have a play with it. You can do combine all sorts of things and have a bit of fun. Best used with the transparency slider or a combination thereof when you're working on a memory. And don't forget to use intervals as well, depending how you want to think about music. So that's the pitch tracker.